Just because you're a new player doesn't mean you have to play like a noob. Today we're going to go over some common mistakes made in Gem Grab so that you can play like an experienced player no matter what level you really are. Hey everyone, what's happening? Lex back today for another Brawl Stars video. If this is your first time here on my channel, what's happening? I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you pick up a few tips. Consider subscribing. You know, I make some pretty decent stuff, or at least I like to think so. I hope you do too. But today we are going to be going over some of the most common mistakes made by new players and sometimes seasoned players as well in Gem Grab. Now the goal here is that at the end of the video, you're going to recognize, I bet you at least there's one or two of these things that you do commonly, whether you realize it or not. And I do them myself sometimes too, even if, you know, I've got 8,000, almost basically 8,300 trophies, and most of those were gained in Gem Grab. I very rarely do I ever play Heist or Showdown. Brawl Ball and Bounty, I play quite a bit, but most of these are Gem Grab because that is my favorite game mode. And through these 8,300 trophies, I've learned a lot of things not to do, mainly by making mistakes myself. So I'm going to pass on some of these very common mistakes to you, and hopefully you can take these and at the end of the video say, okay, yeah, I do that a lot. I need to focus more on not doing that, and it's going to net you more trophies in the end. So I hope you guys enjoy this. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to tell you the mistake. We're going to talk about it for a second. I'm going to show you some clips of both doing it the proper way as well as the improper way. In the background here, we just got some low-level gameplay from my mini account, Lex Jr. We're just playing some S&G from a few different perspectives. So you guys enjoy that. I'll call your attention to it when we're actually going to show a clip, you know, highlighting a good or bad, you know, tactic used by players in Gem Grab. All right, on to the first mistake commonly made. These are in no particular order, but mistake number one that is commonly made by players is clumping up. All right, so what do I mean by clumping up? If you don't know, it's when all three of your brawlers, you and your other two teammates, all get really close to each other. All right, so why is that bad? Well, it's bad because there's lots of brawlers in this game that do splash damage, and or brawlers like Tara that thrive on people getting clumped up because that super can grab all three of them and can wipe your team in a hurry. What you want to do instead is spread out. You want to be able to, you know, control your lane. Each player in Gem Grab, if you're not familiar, there's a specific role that each brawler wants to fill. There's going to be one that's going to be the gem carrier, one that's going to be like an aggro player, which is definitely more aggressive. You're really trying to keep the enemy team back and or getting those surprise kills. And three, like a support brawler or just a high DPS brawler that's going to assist keeping people off the middle, off of your gem carrier, killing people and offering support to whichever side that they need to be. That's generically the three main roles that you're going to want to play. There are some variations of that. I mean, you could go like a Gem Grab and double DPS. That works pretty well as well too. I've even seen double healers and some other combinations, but let's keep it basic. A gem carrier, an aggro, and a support. If you don't know these basic roles, some more depth information would be check out my video on Gem Grab in Hard Rock Mine. It have a really good strategy guide for specifically that map, but it has a lot of really good information just in general. There'll be a little card up here that you can go ahead and check that out. Each player, they have their own roles, right? So they need to be in their positions to fulfill those roles. And when you're out of position and you're all kind of just in the middle in like a team fight, or even if it is a team fight, you still don't want to be clumped up. You want to be able to be spread out to where one brawler, like say a Shelly or a Tara or a Dynamite or Barley, I mean there's tons of brawlers that do splash damage. Don't clump up. This is what can happen here if you clump up. As you can see, I'm playing Tara, and all three of their brawlers are, they're not even like super clumped up, but they're all within range of Tara's super. And Tara's super is a very, very scary thing. It's one of the most scary things that you see in Brawl Stars. When you see that super light up, it's time to scatter. You don't want to all be able to be sucked in and killed like that. But it doesn't go just for Tara. Like Spike, if they're all in his super, or you know, like Bo, if they're all on the mines, there's lots of different possibilities. And then it compounds if you have Tara and like another brawler that does damage with that. They can start chaining all these different, you know, supers on you, or just their normal attacks, because you get all clumped up into one spot, and it just makes it easier to hit you and do multiple damage to everybody. And either at that point you're going to have to retreat, or you're going to end up dying, and that's obviously not a good thing to do. And for extra credit, you guys can all just do this. that's not a good thing. So, mistake number 1 is clumping up. You want to stay in your lanes. You want to spread out, get that fire coming from all directions so that way they can't all focus in one spot. On to mistake number 2, and that is not knowing your role. Now, we just talked about roles, right? Gym carrier, aggro, support. Know your role and play your role. Let's just say, for instance, and you're going to see a clip here of just this, Primo. Let's say Primo is playing Gym Grab. He's really not the greatest Gym Grab player, but he can definitely work as an aggro player. So the aggro player, again, like just say specifically for Hard Rock Mine, they want to sneak around to the sides, hide in the bushes, jump out and attack enemies, get those kills, keep them pushed back away so that the gym carrier and the support, they can sit there and collect those gems without much pressure at all. The DPS can even come up there and help Primo and really keep them back and spawn trap them. That's a good thing. But if Primo decides, hey, you know what? I got a lot of health. I'm just going to hang out in the middle right next to Poco while he's trying to pick up the gems, and I'm going to get the gems. We've all played with those randoms. Maybe you've even been one of those randoms at one point that did that. Tip, stop. Just don't do it. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. If you're an aggro player, play the aggro position. Even if you don't do it well, you keep practicing it, you're going to get better. But as you can see, this Primo right here, hanging out in the middle, I'm playing Poco, and Primo's over here just like a fly on my shoulder, like, dude, get away from me. I'm collecting the gems. You go do your job. I'll do me, you do you, we'll all be happy. Instead, you know, you end up getting wiped because they again you start clumping up because you're trying to play your role as the gym carrier and he's over there, and then next thing you know, you're all dead. What should happen is something a little more like this. Now, you see Primo, he's sneaking around to the side. He's not standing in the center. He doesn't have the range to stand in the center. That's not what he's there for. He's sneaking around to the side. He's going to surprise them, and he's going to be able to take them out with his DPS and his health, and he's going to play the aggro position. Surprise, surprise, he's playing his role. So know your role in Gym Grab. Play your role in Gym Grab. If you're support, don't collect gems. If you're support, don't try to go aggro. Play your role. All right, on to mistake number 3. Since we were just talking about aggro players, let's keep that thread going. Let's say you're an aggro player and you sneak around and you kill their gym carrier right in the middle. Your Poco is behind you. Freeze frame here. Your Poco's behind you. You just killed the aggro player, or you just killed their gym carrier. All those gems are sitting there. What do? Cue Jeopardy music right now. Does that work? I don't know. But do you collect the gems and keep on fighting? Or do you just continue to be aggressive and let your gem carrier collect the gems? Please tell me you answered B. Please tell me you said you let your gem carrier collect the gems, because that is the correct answer. If you pick up the gems as the aggro player, you can no longer be as aggressive as you need to be. Your role is to be aggressive, to hide in those bushes, to attack the enemy, and you're going to die as the aggro player. Occasionally, from time to time, even if you're doing really good, they're going to bunch up on you because they have to. They're going to kill you. If you're carrying all the gems, guess what? You just lost them all, like that. Is that what you want? I hope not, because that is not the right thing to do. So, if you're an aggro player and your gem carrier is close by, you kill somebody that they drop gems, don't pick them up. Unless the other team is right there and they're about to get them too, and in that case you probably wouldn't have got them anyway, go ahead and pick them up. But for the most part, let your gem carrier pick up the gems and carry the gems. Let them do their job and you do your job. It all works out pretty well that way. On to mistake number 4. Since we're talking about gem carrying, let's continue that one as well. Let's say you're the gem carrier. Your primary goal here is to kind of control your area. You don't have to be getting kills. That's not your primary goal. Your goal is to assert some sort of area control. And your goal is also, of course, to pick up the gems and carry them, eventually get 10 and do your job and you guys win. That's eventually your goal. However, you have to play safe. So number 4 biggest mistake that I see noobs make is the gem carrier gets way too aggressive while they're carrying gems. That is not what you want. Let's say that you've got a bunch of gems and you see somebody, you know what, look at this scenario, and I do this one all wrong. Now these are stage scenarios, but you get the point. There's a Pam there. I almost killed the Pam. I'm going to go in after him. I don't really need to kill that Pam. I could just push her out of there and I could continue to collect gems. Instead, I get greedy, go after that Pam, and guess what happens? Yeah, bull in the grass, smashes my face, he gets the gems. Don't be aggressive with the gems. So mistake number 4 is being too aggressive with the gems. It's pretty simple. This one big thing that you have to realize in Gym Grab is that, and this is something that I've struggled with quite a bit actually when I'm playing the center. You have to be aware of your other teammates. If you're constantly getting overrun in the center because the other team is smashing down on you, it's not your fault. Your teammates are failing you right now. They need to keep them off the center and help you. Now, there's going to be times when everybody crashes to the center. You're going to have to, again, don't clump up, but all focus fire on them. So yeah, be aware. Like, if one of your teammates dies, they didn't die just for no reason. Somebody killed them. They didn't die just because they ate some bad pork, got sick, and puked and died in the corner. Now, that didn't happen. Be kind of weird if it did. They died because somebody killed them, and guess what? They're dead, but that other person, yeah, they're still there. They're still there, so you have to be aware. Did someone on my right die? Did my guy on my left die? If so, be aware of that and shift over away from that area at minimum. You may need to fall either further back or just be very cognizant that there's probably somebody over there and you need to watch out for them. Don't be too aggressive with the gyms, because if you turn your gyms over to them and you're the one who's carrying them, the chances of you winning just plummeted. Like the stock market in 2007, it is crashing. Your chances of winning are very slim. On to mistake number 5, and this one is a big one because you see it all the time. You've probably done it. I've done it. You've seen other people do it. Most of the time it doesn't work out very well, and that is retreating too early once you have 10 gems. All right, here's what you do. First off, you have to remember 2, right? That's not mistake number 2, but 2. If you've got 10 gems and they've got 8 and you retreat, guess what? In those 15 seconds, 2 more gems are going to spawn and they will tie it up. So you can't just relinquish control of the center if you've only got a 2-gem lead. It's got to be 3 or more. As we're watching here, you're going to see a sequence that illustrates this almost perfectly, right? So the opposing team, they got their gems and they immediately retreated. What's going to happen is, if you retreat too early with those gems, you box yourself into a corner. You box yourself all in the back where you've got no room to maneuver and slowly retreat. And the enemy team knows right where you are. They're going to come down and all their fire is going to be focused on you, and especially if one of them has an escape route, like in this case Bull did, because he's going to get those gems, and guess what? Supercharged straight out of there. He's going to beat feet. You're not going to see him again. Game over, end of story. Don't do that. What you want to do is retreat slowly. Now you notice right when we got those gems, we didn't just immediately turn and run all the way back. No, we stopped, provided some pressure against the other team so they couldn't just keep charging. Push him back a little bit while still being safe. Slowly retreat all the way back until the time runs out. You don't want to retreat too early. Box yourself into a corner. Take your time. You can even just completely hold your position if you want to, unless they get too aggressive, the other team speaking. You can push back a little bit. They're getting really aggressive. All right, fall back a little bit. Use some more walls. Push back, and then slowly fall back again. This burns time, keeps you safe, and doesn't let the enemy team overwhelm you. So mistake number 5 is retreating too early. Take your time. Hold your ground and slowly fall back. Don't just rush all the way back to the corner as soon as you get 10 gems, because it's not going to work out well for you most times. All right, so there are the top 5 common noob mistakes made in Gym Grab. I hope you guys picked up a few tips on some things not to do and maybe how you can improve your game. Again, I've done these plenty myself. Even the experienced player is going to make mistakes from time to time. That just happens. So keep these tips in mind next time you're playing Gym Grab, and hopefully you can see the other team making those mistakes and you can capitalize on it yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, until next time, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Lex out. Wow, you must be really bored to still be watching this video, but I mean, you can always subscribe right up there above my logo for more content from me. And be sure to turn on those notifications, because that way I can annoy you at any time. Think of how cool that will be. Not a solid case, but do it anyway. Why not?